On this episode of The Gold and the Grit, I'm sitting down with someone who is not only an incredible talent, but also a dear family friend, Stephanie Quayle. Born and raised in Montana, Stephanie carries the grit and the grounding of the West everywhere she goes, from Nashville to North Carolina and back here to Paradise Valley. She and her husband David now split their time between the mountains of Montana and my hometown, Summerfield, North Carolina, where they own and operate Summerfield Farms, a regenerative grass-fed cattle ranch focused on health, hospitality, and holistic living. Stephanie is a powerhouse in country music. She was named one of Rolling Stone's Country's top new artists you need to know, is a CMT Next Women of Country alum, and a member of the historic CMT Equal play campaign. She has performed on iconic stages like the Grand Ole Opry and the Ryman Auditorium, toured with legends like Willie Nelson and Raitt, and has been featured in People, Cowgirl Magazine, Billboard, Forbes, and Cowboys and Indians magazine, just to name a few. And now she has added author to that list with the release of her powerful memoir, Why Do We Stay?, where she opens up courageously about her personal story, digs deep on loss, betrayal, and the beauty of how she now got to where she is. Stephanie's life is the perfect blend of grit and grace, resiliency, hard work, and beautiful faith. I cannot wait for y'all to hear the wisdom, the strength, sweetness, and talent that she brings to our conversation.
Nailed it!
Let's go!
Is this on right now?
It is.
It is? Oh.
And he'll most likely use that, which I love.
That's so good.
You guys, welcome Stephanie Quayle to The Gold and the Grit.
I was trying to not look at you so I didn't put any kind of pressure because I know that pressure so much.
Yeah.
Boy, do I understand. Hello!
She gets it. And she also wasn't judging me for having to retake it a couple of times.
Of course not. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I'm
Sometimes
like 100 take Kate over here.
Man, Stephanie, like I just said, I just listed off, and that wasn't even the whole list. She was probably too gracious to add on stuff. I said this to her prior, and she just hearted it, and I'm like, I'm probably missing 10 things, but she's very gracious. She's also a true cowgirl. Like I said, she grew up in Montana, but she is really amazing at riding. You might have seen a funny video.
Yes.
On her horse Magic, where you were announcing your album, right?
So I was actually working with Montana for tourism. And so we had one sunset to get one shot. As you know, you only get one sunset a day. And so I'm on the back of my horse Magic, and for whatever reason, every time I would say, hey, this is Stephanie Quayle, he'd interrupt me, and he would just, I could not figure out what it was. And we had some other horses behind us. So the camera was angled, and this took so many takes. And of course, there were some expletives. There was some emotion and some passion. So I was like, I gotta get this take. So we just edited it together, because we thought it was hilarious, but we didn't think it would do anything. And we put it on TikTok. It went viral like 3 times. And so it's funny, when they say like, be specific with your prayers and your heart's desires and all these things. I remember when the Ellen Show was still on, I was like, man, I really hope I can be on the Ellen Show one day. And that video ended up being on the Ellen Show. And I was in Arizona at a horse event, Art of the Cowgirl, and I'm getting like all these messages of like, hey, you're on Ellen right now. I'm like, no, I'm in Arizona, like unbeknownst, I didn't even know. And then there it was, the horse interrupting video. And it's been such a little wild treat. I mean, I think that's the sweet part of, social media can be just such a fun, not so serious when it can not, when it can have that kind of moment. So yeah, he got very famous very quickly. He smoked me. It's kind of like my husband in Wranglers. Like he can one photo and he's like Mr. GQ. Me, I spend like my whole life, getting there. I'm like, I'm like the slow motion. But horse and husband, man, straight to the top.
Hey, there you go. At least they're yours. Both of them are yours.
And both very wonderful. And husband very attractive. Horse is great. Horse is wonderful.
Your horse is also very handsome.
He is a very handsome horse.
He's so handsome.
He is one of the sweetest. And also husband and horse. Like one of my favorite horse stories is horse stories. I saw him through a fence and I just fell in love with him. And every time we would drive by, I would be like, David, pull over. David's the husband. Pull over. I just want to go and see this horse.
What did you name him in your mind? Did he have like a...
He didn't. Sarah, my stepdaughter, actually named him. He came with a name that just didn't fit his it's very dramatic. He's magic. No, his name was Bucket.
Oh, no.
And I just didn't think that was fair to him.
That's not it.
I don't think that's fair.
That's not a good name.
He must have really loved like a bucket of grain to be given that name.
Which horse doesn't like a bucket of grain?
Exactly.
Well, Magic is so handsome.
Magic is a sweet boy.
So there's so much I want to talk to you about. Like we just said, you are multi-talented and faceted, but I would love to start just with your roots in Montana.
Yeah.
How you fell in love with music, and then maybe from there, talk about some questions to do with music.
I love that. Absolutely. So born and raised just outside of Bozeman. When my parents split up, I was super little, and my mom remarried a veterinarian.
Wow.
And he had a ranch. So we ended up, spending our weekdays at the farm and then in town at the city of Bozeman. Where I was like,
wasn't a big city.
No, it was, I was like the city mouse, country mouse, but city, very, kindly, we say that, a rural city. And so that was really where I learned the work ethic of being a little ranch kid. We had cattle and we had bison, and then my stepfather was a veterinarian, so we had every animal known to man that would just either show up in a box, where someone couldn't take care of their animal anymore. Any veterinarian will be able to relate to that. Or, we would just acquire animals for 4-H, or, I had rabbits and goats and all kinds. But we had a little AM radio in our horse barn where I spent most of my time, and that played country music. So that's really where it began for me, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't think, this would ever be what my job would be. Never in a million years.
Well, it is, and you do a beautiful job making it your career.
It is one of I feel like I'm finally in a place where I understand the responsibility and the magnitude of something so precious. And I think that's probably my greatest, how I could pay that message forward is it's all so precious. Take zero for granted. But I was 16, growing up in Bozeman, I'm like, I'm out of here. So I did an exchange program.
Wow.
And this is just, again, God has the coolest roadmap, and no one could ever draw it and be like, and this is where you'll be, and this is why this will happen. It's so kind of abstract, because you wouldn't think a little kid from Montana would end up in Freiburg, Switzerland, and there would be a band that needed a singer. And literally that is within the first month of being there. And I think the only reason they gave me the opportunity was because I was American. I don't really think it was because I was a good singer, or no, it was, and we made a CD. Yes, that's right. A compact disc. We made an album.
You still have it?
I think I have one copy and my mom has one copy, and no one else will ever hear it. It was, I don't even know what genre it was, but it was so freeing because it was like riding a horse wide open. There were no fences. I had no, it has to be a this or it has to be a that. So I really got to spread my wings as a songwriter and just, I don't even know what I was writing. I think there was a song that had cat in it, the word cats. And then I think of Phoebe from Friends with Smelly Cat. And I'm I relate to her so much in ways I shouldn't. And so then coming back to Montana as, just this kid on fire for music. And had to graduate high school, of course. And then it was off to the races. So it was about 6 months. I worked at my dad's gun range and helped him with his company, and then I was off to California. California was familiar. Nashville felt so far away. I wasn't ready. I don't know why LA was where I was I'm going to go get ready in LA, but boy howdy, did I learn a lot there. And so then over the course of years, I finally just was kind of done with people telling me how I should be or what I should be. Also, such a different time musically that being in Los Angeles as a country artist, people were very confused.
I bet.
They're like, who are you? Why are you here? And why aren't you in Nashville?
You're ahead of the curve.
I was either really ahead or really behind. It depends. I'm kind of like a corgi. Actually, I kind of feel finally I'm not a corgi. Have you ever seen a corgi? They're never going in the same.
Yes.
I was a corgi, but no longer a corgi. thank God. But yeah, so it was really, I got to see almost every side of the industry, from the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so I was so grateful that I grew up with such foundational tools to navigate those waters. Because I think had I not, it would have been very easy to fall prey to some of those traps.
That makes a lot of sense. And I can only imagine, because how old were you when you moved to LA?
I was 19.
Yeah.
19 with no full frontal cortex.
No.
Like, no one stopped me. I also was kind of unstoppable. I was kind of doing my own thing.
I was going to say, they probably couldn't stop you.
Yeah, I was pretty wide open. But yeah, no, it was 19.
How long were you in LA?
I was there 10 years.
Wow.
So that, I started making my little album in 2008. This is where I was like, I will show the world. I'm going to do this myself. And then the book, 2009, January, my boyfriend dies in the plane crash. And so I had this body of work that I wasn't the same girl.
No.
And so I had to go re-record it, re-sing it, kind of find my voice. And then the last, handful of years have just been
skyrocketed.
Well,
to the moon.
I would say that I've taken the longest route possible, but I'm so grateful that I had to stick with it for myself. It was never really about I have to prove to someone else. It was really I have to prove to myself, because I had some, I made some big decisions and sacrifices in my mind that I'd be like, I have to make sure this is worth it.
Yeah.
And then that, as you get older and that adapts and faith gets stronger and somehow you fall in love even with all odds are against you. And so yeah, there's a lot to unpack with all of that.
That is, I feel like I have a million questions, but
Ask them all.
I got to stick on my roadmap, but did you ever I know you were in Nashville now a lot.
Yes. Yeah. So I moved to Nashville in 11.
Okay.
November of 11, moved to Nashville, and then just was like
started writing different songs in a different heart place. And
also just went and I kind of took out all what I thought I knew of the business and just said, okay, I'm a blank slate. And I saw a songwriter in a songwriter round for the first time, really experiencing that. And I was floored that someone with a terrible voice and a great song could move a room with one instrument and one voice. I was like, okay, I want that.
Wow.
I want that. I've got to get to there. And that has been the quest, right? Like to outwrite the last song. But yeah, no, Nashville's been a really beautiful place to learn and grow, and also pull back, right? You got to pull back and look at the full view, because sometimes we get too tunnel vision in certain things. I think, at least I have.
That's why I think it's special to write with other people that you trust and know and that do know your story. And I mean, maybe that takes time as you build a relationship, but what's beautiful about that is that sometimes we are so up close, tunnel focused on something, and they can have outside perspective of have you thought about writing it this way?
Yeah.
What about this? And that's so cool. And you still don't lose a part of your story.
Yeah. Take your line and just is this what you meant? And I'm like, yes, I'm dyslexic. And I mean that respectfully, because I think I am. Yeah. Because I have always I make my sentences not I'm like Yoda. It's like happy you are. No. What is my problem?
Well, you can't tell that without in any of your music.
Well,
so
thank God for editing. I love the process of writing. My favorite process is editing, and listening back to a song that I'm working on. And that process of songwriting is just if you were to ask me what I'm most excited about, I'm most excited about this next album from the writing standpoint, because I feel like all of my corgi is aligned. Yeah. And
it's starting to make sense.
And it all, I think the On the Edge album, that was the catalyst for the book, was such a specific sentiment, obviously. And then the one before that, it's such just a love song to David and the whole album. And country music, to kind of now take these worlds and go, okay, here's the depth, here's the foundation, and here's where we're going.
Without spoiling anything, because I know you can't.
Oh, we can spoil a little.
Just a little. What is the most meaningful song to you on that album? And you don't have to say the name. Okay. And then what is your favorite? It could be more fun, or it could be the same.
Yeah. Well,
And why?
It will, if it makes the album. And the only reason it wouldn't make the album, on the next album, right? Is because it's so personal.
Oh, wow.
But it was one of the most special rites I've ever experienced because I had just finished my prayers. I'd had this idea for a song to really kind of share my love for my stepkids and where they're headed in their relationships. And so it was one of those songs that like you live for as a songwriter because it just fit perfectly together. And it was like, thank you, God, because that was awesome. And this is what drives me to the next. So it will depend. We'll see how but it's probably one of the most special songs I've ever written. Have
you played it for David?
Oh yeah, I've actually played it at the rehearsal dinner for the kids. They didn't know, and
did everyone cry?
It was I cried. I couldn't get through it. I was like, man, I had to print out the lyrics because I was like, I'm gonna mess this up. But yeah, no, I think what I love too about country music, and I know you know this, is it's such slice of life, and I think that. Yeah. I am finding that the more I live, the more I have to write about. And that's like we have to keep living it in order to write it, or it becomes kind of monotonous and who cares? Nothing, I can't do anything that's who cares. Yeah. Like I can write a dog dish song like the best of them. Like I have a couple that I can't wait because they're just funny, but there's no like we're not crying. If we're crying, it's because we're laughing so hard, right? In these particular songs, which I love that kind of juxtaposition of I can, yes, be very serious, but also
silly.
Yeah. I love to make people laugh. It's one of my favorite things.
You're great at it. You are like
really love to
in a lighthearted, not at their expense way too.
Oh no, it's always at mine. It's always at my expense if it can be, or like, you know, a boyfriend that might have taken a wrong turn, and they probably earned that comment.
That's exactly right.
That's why there's a book.
Yeah, I want to get into that. I'm wondering if that's a natural progression to the next question. So if you guys didn't know, I said at the beginning, she has an incredible book called Why Do We Stay?
Yeah. Oof.
And
what a good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think as a female, and of course it can go both ways, but
for sure,
especially as a female, when we get in these relationships and we don't know our worth and our value, and that can seep in from childhood to even just like maybe choosing partners that happen to treat us that way over and over again. Like you said, even after that, you still chose someone toxic.
Yes.
Because you're used to it. And we have a deep belief, unfortunately, sometimes so ingrained in our hearts that like that's what we deserve. Yeah. So if you're listening right now and that's you, it's been me most of my adult life. And I think I got 2 pages in. My dad bought it for me. Aww. I had a really hard time in my life. And I got 2 pages in and I started bawling. And I was like, great, I'm going to cry this whole book.
It packs a punch.
You just feel seen with your words. I felt so seen with your words because unless you've walked through it, like you talked about with songwriting, with life, it's amazing art to write about it. But when other people get to read it and say like, it's not just me. Yeah. And they get to say like, someone as beautiful and talented as you also went through something, in my opinion, much worse than I went through, but like, also allowed themselves to get treated that way and stayed through it and thought if I can just love them more, they're going to turn it around. We'll have better days. Right. Those negative things when they are mentally or emotionally abusive or narcissistic will shrink smaller and smaller if I just love them more. Yeah.
Or if I change, then it will be if I fix it. Man, it breaks my heart to hear that you went through it too.
I did.
And all I can say is like only by us sharing is how other young women get to truncate that. Like that was when I was writing the album, the Lost Years, I can't barely sing that song because it hurts so much to sing because I can never get that time back. So one of my missions since has been, how do I get other people time back? So if we can truncate other people's not the process of, grief and shame. Everyone's process is different, but the understanding of what we're going through so that maybe it can be a light at the end of whatever. That's the thing is like, I wish I could give time back. So that's what I'm trying to do. I can't give it back to myself, but I've had the opportunity to help other people and they get to leave sooner. In my case, I stayed and I stayed and I stayed and I stayed. And that's been the greatest gift from the book, is people reading it and having the courage to leave and get that time back.
And that has the same thing. Repeat.
Yeah. It's hard. I think I remember reading this and it just like floored me, and I don't know why it took so long to get it, but we learned the lesson and we'll keep learning the lesson until we learn the lesson.
That's right.
And people, and why do we stay? I mean, I know how many times people have asked me like, well, why did you stay? Right? And there's I think sometimes, because we don't know what to say to others that are going through hard times, we tend to say all the things that just kind of compound the shame, and they compound well, I don't want to be vulnerable because it exposes a part of me that didn't make necessarily the right decision, or had a compromising situation, or was complicit. And that's why I really wrote the book from the perspective of like, no, I don't need anyone to feel sorry for me. These are the choices I made. These were the repercussions of my choices. And had I had this book, I wouldn't have made those choices, or I would have shortened that period of time. And I just didn't have it. I didn't know. I mean, just in the last handful of years, did I even know toxic, gaslighting, narcissism, all these words.
And they're overused and they're buzzwords now, but in your case, and I would say more often than not in mine, it's true.
Yeah. Right. I think, and that was one of the things that I really probably leaned in too hard with Sweet David when we first met. Because I was like, here's the deal. You can call me anything. Don't call me crazy. And he was like, whoa, she's a firecracker. Okay, lady. And I explained to him
why
that word, was used for so many people to just discredit. And in my case, it was used to discredit when I said, hey, this doesn't add up, or this doesn't make sense. And so that beautiful intuition that we as women have, and that
gives it to us,
that gut that gets that little like, hey, something doesn't add up, was met with crazy. And I think that's one of the things that, in our language, we really need to chew on our words before we use them. And so I really encourage anyone. Now, I've gotten past it. Now I can be like, oh man, she's a little cray. It's hard for me to say crazy, but she's a little, crazy. Or he's a little. But it is a very demonizing word when someone uses it to dismiss something. Right. So I get true facts. Yeah. So Sweet David, he was like, he's a very patient man, because he waded through those waters with me. That
was my next question is like, you talk about it in your book, but for those that are watching that haven't read, when you guys first met, which I'd like to hear about, and so as sweet. You fell in love, how did you leap over those giant hurdles of trust issues? Yeah. And that, I know you had healed, but like it was still probably a fresh scar of betrayal that cut deep. How did you get past that? Well,
I think I think I was so shocked that I had met someone that was so stable and so good, even and kind. It was jolting. It was hard to believe. And it did take time to really trust that there are really good people in the world. And we don't give the good people enough credit for being around, because we're so, at least in my case, I was so used to the volatility and this push and pull and this constant state of walking on eggshells that calm, cool, and healthy seemed foreign. It was like, wait.
Someone else's emotions was like so normalized for you. Yeah. That it was weird that he was fine.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. And so I think he knew, and I think if he was sitting here, he would share with you that he knew there was more work to be done. But he also knew that you can't make people get there faster, right? And so he was really kind and patient with that part of me. I think for me, when I realized that I was in love with this man, I was like, I'm gonna marry him. The one who was like anti-marriage, like I was like, I'll never get married. And then I met him, I'm like, Buddy the Elf. It's ridiculous. But I thought, oh, I'm healthy now because I've got someone, right? So I kind of just overlooked my own stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good now. And he was like, okay.
But he was like loving enough to know you to figure it out.
Yeah, and and it really came about so naturally. And I think we can't make people heal faster. We can't tell them to heal faster. We can't tell people what to do. We can only work on us. And so in the process of writing the album and writing the book, there was so much self-discovery and so much healing. I realized that really I had barely scratched the surface. So I think the whole time coming up in my career, telling everyone like, you'll get through this, it was as much for them as it was for me because I hadn't gone through. And the key is you have to go through it. Like there's no way around it. No. It will find you. No. It's like a heat-seeking missile. It will find you.
What is
you
that?
Can't outrun it.
You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You have to go through it.
Gotta go through it.
Yeah.
And then you get the armor that comes with that, which it doesn't make things easier. It just, that resiliency that you talk about and that just stability. Like I love people for sure. I love connecting with people, but I don't need to be accepted by others because I finally found that self-acceptance and that came through my faith.
Yeah.
1000%.
I think that's beautiful. And I think one of my biggest prayers is like, God, help me to see myself through your eyes.
Oof.
And it was cool. It was in a time of prayer.
So do you see yourself like he sees you yet?
Sister. I'm working on it. It's without divulging into too many details because I'm trying to be sensitive to the fact that this does air and people do watch it. Someone that I loved a lot and cared about a lot. We were together for like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
In that time frame, it was pretty toxic and unhealthy at some of the parts of it. And then I did end up leaving. And then this year he came back and said like, let's do it God's way. Oh. You know, like I see that you're honoring the Lord in your whole life. And I see that, you know, like that's your priority. And like, I want that for myself too. And it was risky.
Sure.
But he did a lot of things the right way. He came and talked to my dad in Montana, looked him in the eye, asked him for the chance to pursue me again.
Wow.
Was in touch with my sister. And to be fair, like I have forgiven this person. It's still kind of a daily choice, but
well, forgiveness is the greatest gift you can give yourself.
That's
so
right.
It only, like, I mean this with the most love. It is the most important thing you can ever give yourself is forgiving those that have hurt you because it only hurts us to hold it.
It makes yourself imprisoned to bitterness and anger. Yeah. And you sit still and it's ugly and it's messy and
not pretty.
Yeah. And it affects other people. Yeah. We could go down that whole unforgiveness rabbit hole.
Well, this is now I kind of want to interview you. You're like, no, but that's, here's the beauty of forgiveness though. First of all, it is no one else's, this is your life.
Yeah.
And I've always said when people split apart, if they're meant to come back together, that's God's sewing machine. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not for anyone else to judge or anything. You know your boundaries. Yeah. You don't need to question your worth or how God sees you. So you need to just.
Well, I didn't finish the story.
Oh wait, there's more.
It's not a great story.
Oh no!
And I was on that page. It's okay. It's okay. It's
Josh, are we gonna have to edit this out?
I hope not, because this is cute. No, but to be honest, like what you said is 100% true and valid, and that's where my heart was.
Okay.
So it was going.
What did he do?
Yep. Oh! It was going really beautiful and really well, and he was making a lot of wise decisions. But ultimately, because he hasn't healed his trauma points and his like sore spots, and I won't get into that. That's his story.
Totally, I get it.
Unfortunately, like life happened, trigger points happened. A lot of stress was compiled within 1 week. We were talking about eloping in August.
Oh my gosh, like just this last, okay.
Like right, coming up in 2 months.
Oh, yeah. Okay, this is fresh.
And because we had been together so long before, and in my mind, his mind, we were each other's person. So long story short, on a random Wednesday, I lead a group of college girls Bible study because just like you, I wish people had told me things at that age.
I get it.
And differently than your book, but it's one of those things where like, if this is the space I get to help people make better decisions than I have, like I'm going to use it. Yeah. So I do through my church in Bozeman, but I was at a Bible study, which he knows is every Wednesday. And I just seen him 3 days prior in North Carolina. Yeah. And I was seeing him the next day in San Diego. Yeah. And my Holy Spirit given gut check light engine came on. And the very long story short, I won't get into all the details. We can talk later.
Yes.
My biggest prayer was, God, you see what I don't when we're far away, because we were dating long distance. Don't let one day go by if something happens I need to know about. And I found out within the hour that he had cheated.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that I know in my head, it's not because of me. I know in my head, it's not because I wasn't enough. I know all of that.
But it's still happening to you.
Correct. It doesn't matter in those moments. All you can feel is that weight of like, my love that I had for this person wasn't enough for him to love me back in the same way.
And I don't think that, at least in my life's experience, which is like 100 years now,
she's young.
I would say there's nothing more painful than betrayal.
Yeah.
Because, losing someone to grief, right? Like losing a loved one, that is a different kind of hurt and pain for sure. Losing someone to betrayal,
when it wasn't your choice,
it's just the most brutal, because I think that you can't have love. If you don't have trust, you don't have love. Yeah. I don't really. Period. I just think that's a really, like, you can love people from a distance, right? But like to have that real love lock, if you don't have trust, you're kind of, that's like I don't know how you would ride that.
You can't build anything on that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But betrayal's brutal.
It is. And that's why I think, obviously your book has more meaning to me now again, unfortunately, but.
Is this a reread now, maybe?
So I did actually start reading.
Did you really?
Before today. One, to refresh myself on the memories of the details, to ask you better questions, but two, because I need it.
It's, when we were writing that book, myself and Dr. Keith Campbell, it was, how can we make this a tool for others? How can we make it one of those books that you can carry around, or you could give your friend, or give your loved one, or give your loved one's loved one who's trying to be like, red flags. But when you're in it, it's very hard to be told you're in it.
You have the love blinders on. Like you guys both spoke on that, and that's why people listening to people close to you is important.
Yeah. I don't know that anyone goes into something like looking. At least me, I don't look at people and go, man, they're probably a really terrible person. I believe in good people, and I just didn't want to believe that, my gut was right, and that my, the spidey senses in those moments of like, no, I wasn't crazy and insecure. I was right on the money.
That's right. You knew every single time.
I knew, and I just didn't know to the extent. And that's a really hard thing to learn, and I don't know that you can teach it without experiencing it. And that's the bummer too, right?
It's like bummer. It's like a great song that you can't relate to, but you love listening to.
Yeah, it's like, man, I don't ever want someone to be cheated on to understand what it feels like to be cheated on. But betrayal is brutal, and I hate that for you. But I also know that you are going to be just fine.
Thanks.
So you just got to take the time that it takes. Can't rush it.
That's also, so on Sunday, my pastor, Alex, said, you guys know what it feels like to try to take a shortcut on God and to get back basically to the same place and be behind. And so waiting on him is always best.
Yeah.
But especially as a woman, sometimes we're like, okay, Lord.
Well, yeah.
Hello. But it's also the healing process, like you said.
Yeah.
I can find a David one day that is patient with me as I heal and grow.
Of course.
But how much better will I be if I take the time right now too?
Yeah. I really do think the key is when you can look in the mirror at every flaw and love yourself like Jesus loves you. When you can look in the mirror and go, I am perfectly made because he made me in his image. He made me perfect. That doesn't mean we're perfect. He's the only perfect. But to be able to self-accept all the stuff, all the flaws, like, I think that's the most freeing part about it for me, is that I hope people like my music. I hope people read my books and it does something. I hope it promotes purpose. And really, like, we have the ability to be so much more in other people's lives, and how do we serve? But I have an audience of one at the end of the day, and that's my checkpoint. And there's so much freedom that comes with that. And I wish at your age, I would have had that freedom. but that only comes from doing the work. And you can't force it. You can't rush it. You can't be like, and this is when I'm going to figure it out. On this day, at Tuesday at 12 p.m., I will have my
life together.
I was also going to say something else, and I was like, nope.
I thought that.
I think you were thinking what I was thinking, and yes. But yeah, so also it's enjoying the process of growing, because if we're not growing, then what are we doing? You
have so much wisdom to offer.
I'm 100. I am like a little Yoda.
I think it was at the rodeo. You were like, well, yeah, I'm way older than you. I was like, yeah, right. Like,
no, I am. But here's the cool part about
no, you're
all
not.
the things that I was told as a young person. One of my greatest, is that it's all a bunch of horse manure. When people say you're too old, you're too young, you're too this, you're too that. If they're telling you you're too something, they are not your people. No. And I'm so glad I was just youthfully defiant, right? I just didn't really like people telling me that I was a this or that. So that also could be part of why my road has been so long, because I've been so strict on where I wasn't willing to compromise, right?
I think the length of your road is perfect.
My road is his. And so
perfect.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter how long it takes. I think me taking time out of the equation has given me the greatest ability to be the best artist. Right. When I think about the next book or the next song or the next conversation, it doesn't come with it has to be this. It's am I doing my job? Is someone watching this that might be in a really tough situation, and because of our conversation and our willingness to own our stuff and be vulnerable, does that give them the confidence to go, maybe me too? Maybe I can share, I'm thinking about different things, or I'm going through a hard time, or I need help. I think that for me, no one knew what I was going through. I was really good at hiding it. And that took me to the edge. And I think that we now live in a time where we are so much more accepting of people's vulnerabilities. And with that, we have to build ourselves up and really become just resilient so that we can live in both spaces, right? Being able to be resilient and courageous and gritty and kind and better and not bitter, and just love even harder, even when our hearts get broken and broken and broken. It's okay, all right, that heart muscle's just potent and powerful.
It's a resilient one.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God
and
that He takes it. He takes it and heals it for us.
Yeah. 1000%.
There's a lot of times I feel like God's picking up my broken heart on the floor and been I got you, girl. Here's a new one.
He's always there, right? Yeah.
I was going to ask, kind of backtracking to music, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. We can go anywhere.
Thank you for your time.
This is probably the most tangential of a conversation, because we are everywhere.
I know.
I got a little smile out of him.
Josh smiled.
There's
so much, you guys can probably read this for the camera. There's so much I want to, and forgive me if I took too much time sharing parts of my story.
Are you kidding?
Because I want to hear about you.
You need to tell your story.
But reading your book really placed it on my heart to be hey,
when you
stayed, because we have to.
When you wrote that to me, that means so much, because when I was writing that, when I put the album out, I knew I could never take it back once it was out. And when I shared the book, it was slightly terrifying, because I talk about mental health. I talk about, my battle with wanting to even keep living.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of one of those things. It's man, Lord, I hope this is the right decision. I'm sharing it all in the hopes that if it helps someone. So
it did.
I really appreciate you sharing that. That's a big
deal. Because I struggled with very, very similar things. So when you wrap your purpose up in something that fails, it's oftentimes hard to keep going.
Of course.
So which thankfully we both have learned where to put our hope and purpose now.
Yeah. Now I just love failing. I'm like, fail on, sister. Let's go. That means we're trying, that means we're doing.
You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah. 1000%.
Oh.
It's
Wait, that's a perfect
Get on the
segue.
dance floor and dance badly. At least you're dancing. At least you're trying, you know? It's like the quote about being in the arena.
That's right.
You know, like it's easy for us to watch a rodeo, for example, and say like, how did she miss that barrel? Or why did he come off so soon? Or, you know, how did he miss that steer? But we're not in the arena. Right. We have no business trying to, like, we can make our little, you know, like,
but judge
but we don't know, right? So it's kind of like that. Like, unless you're in the arena, just clap.
That's right. Clap and hope
just
you
clap.
Get back up. Have you seen the funny social media trend? It's like a girl watching a rodeo, and then she's like, "If that was me, I would." Or sorry, it says, "I think I would stay on, but that's just me." And then it goes to like a bull rider.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's just me, but I think I'd stay on.
It's also like me going to a baseball game and being like, I can't believe he missed that. Like 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay. That's because so you've ever swung a bat, Stephanie? Like, no. Maybe T-ball, and then I threw the bat because I was terrible. So yeah, no, it's true. But yeah, it takes a lot to put yourself in the arena.
That's right. It's brave.
Yeah.
Speaking kind of on that tone, what was it like for you on your journey? You've talked about the times that you wanted to quit music or you got frustrated, or because I think there are people listening that are maybe whatever career they're in are in that middle place of like, is this going to pay off?
Yeah.
I'm working so hard, spinning my wheels and nothing's happening.
Yeah. What
would you say to encourage them? And also, what did you learn in that time frame?
Well, it sounds so stupid, but it is so true. Don't quit. That's it. Yeah. In a nutshell, and why I say that is, I think back to as recent as last fall. I was, so almost a year ago, just going like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And I think that part of my wrestle was like, okay, am I doing enough? Is my purpose on this planet like, am I making it matter? Is it enough? Like, am I doing enough? And so I had this whole like, man, I pray every morning. Like, I have this hour of prayer. Like, if anyone ever filmed me praying, they'd be like, whoa, she's intense, because it's my time. It's where I break down. It's my breakdown time, and I break down almost every single time I pray in the most beautiful of breakdowns. Because I think when we break down, that's where we really get to put it back together, where he puts it back together. And I was just questioning it. And I feel like when we really go to God with our questions, especially when it has to do with our gifts and our purpose and what he wants for our life and how we're glorifying him, he meets us in a way that we'll understand. He meets us where in the natural, in a supernatural way. And this for me was just bonkers because, again, going back to the don't quit, I have my first song at country radio, which is called Drinking with Dolly, right? Which is about Dolly Parton.
Such a good song.
And when that song came out, she had heard it. I had a letter from her, but I'd never met her. And you know, as an artist who's grown up with Dolly and looked at her and revered her, not only as a country artist songwriter, all the things that she is on paper, but her heart and how she has impacted society. And that woman loves Jesus.
She does.
Amazing. And so this one morning I was just praying, going like, is this even what you want me to do? Like, I'll be a janitor. I will be the best janitor. You give me a broom, I will be the best. I mean, if that's what you want, if that's what you call me to do. And I was much more emotional in this prayer that I was praying that morning. And kid you not, 2 hours later, I get a call from her team. This was just last fall. And it was, can you be in Nashville? And I didn't quite get it when I was, when they were asking me to be at this thing. So I wasn't registering that I was going to be interviewing Dolly, not meeting Dolly, interviewing her, getting to spend time with her. And it shook me to my very core. And it was one of those, there is no other way. God winks in ways that just, you're like, that was like a super wink. That was like, I don't even know what you would call it. It was so wild. And it was such a moment of, I didn't bring you this far to bring you this far. but your purpose is greater than what you think it is. And then what followed that was me getting to sit with Dolly off camera talking about Jesus. And then we're on camera and we're doing our whole thing. And I'm just sitting there going, he didn't give me a moment. He didn't give me a meet and greet. He didn't give me a picture. He gave me this unprecedented conversation that not only glorified him, but was such a moment where I got to truly thank her. Because that was the only thing I wanted more than anything, was for her to know how much I appreciated what she's given. Because to give as much as she's given, as long as she has, that's a sacrifice most people wouldn't make. And especially with time, and time we don't get back, right? That's the, you know, when you talk about like, you know, when were there moments of like, man, really time is like, I think about that with every choice I make now. Whereas before I would just be like, yes, 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 yes. I was like, boom, you know, like no matter what. But now it's like, wait, how am I impacting lives? And if I never get this time back, which we never do, right? Like when you leave here, I hope you're going, man, I really wish I would have just spent 2 hours with her. That would be so heartbreaking to me. Yeah, so like how we spend our time, who we spend our time with, is the greatest gift we can give to somebody else. So looking at that through that lens, it just amplified it all for me and really made it like super focused, like the Bible verse, narrow is the road, right? And so it all just has so much more meaning. And I feel it on stage in a way I didn't feel it before, because it's not about me.
You got baptized last year.
January 20th, 2024, baby.
So you made that decision.
Yes.
Highlands is a special church.
Oh.
So Definition in Greensboro.
Okay.
They have a lot of Highlands staff come and speak.
Absolutely.
They're like
family.
They're in the Ark. They're in the Ark little branch. So I got to hear like the Deliverance conference, Freedom. Yeah. The Freedom conference. Yeah. I've been to that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Probably could go through it again, but
it's a good one. It's a good one.
They're a really special place. What, if it's okay to share?
Of course, absolutely.
What led you to make that decision? How has your walk with Jesus changed?
Yeah,
I'd love to hear about that.
So I had seen Pastor Chris Hodges at High Point University at a prayer breakfast in December of 22. And, you know, I was born in the faith.
Yeah.
It wasn't ever really a question. It was just, this is what it is. And so we're there at the prayer breakfast. David and I are sitting there and we're just taken by this complex message in the simplest of terms. And that's what I love about Pastor Chris, is he is able to make everything that he shares about Jesus so easy to understand and simplifies and makes it very intentional and very specific. He's the most intentional person I've ever met. And he had the nativity scene and he was just moving around Jesus. And he goes, is Jesus in the center of your life? And that hit my, microphone, apologize, hit my soul and my spirit and my person in a way that I was just, it just took me to my mental knees in that moment, just going, no. And so that then led me to start watching his church online. Yeah. So wherever I was, between North Carolina, Nashville, and anywhere on the road, Montana, I just watched every week and just kept watching. And, you know, he shares, as other lead pastors do, and they're all sharing, you know, like, have you been water baptized? Like, and I'm like, man, I don't know. So I call my parents. They don't know. I'm like, first of all, how do you not know? Because they sent me to every vacation Bible school known to man across the state of Montana, and I never got put in the water. So
you never got dunked.
Yeah, no. Or I mean, my brothers probably tried to, but that was a different kind of baptism. And so after that year, I was coming up on that December and just, you know, thinking about January 28th. And what that date has always meant to me, which has been a date of just heartbreak and grief, because that was the day that my boyfriend had died. And so I reached out to Church of the Highlands, Pastor Chris, and I just said, is there any way that we can make this a day of reclamation? And I wanted to reclaim it, and I wanted it. And so they were able to make that happen. And it is something that is indescribable. I went in the water one way and I came out different. And it was not a feeling, it was a state change. I didn't wash my hair for a week. I had holy hair for a week. I was driving home from Birmingham to Nashville, and I was just like, I'm never washing my hair. Like, I really took it as far as I could. And it's been such a gift, because I remember my dad saying, you put your baptism on social media. I go, well, they say make a public announcement. Like, you don't get more public than social media. And also, I think that, again, it kind of goes back to, I don't want to be halfway.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't want to listen to my music, read my book, or know about me because of my faith, that's okay.
Yeah.
That is their choice.
Yeah.
It is my choice to be 100% me. Right. And that has really just given me so much freedom. And all these sweet little God winks along the way that, I think to be able to share about our faith, and when those moments come, it's a gift that just keeps on, it just compounds and amplifies in ways we can't even see. And no, it's been really sweet, and to watch the impact on my family has been really lovely.
I admire and love that so much, and I saw it and celebrated and freaked out, and I was like, let's go, Steph.
Oh my gosh.
This is beautiful. It is a public declaration, and what's more public than the cross?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did it for us. So
yeah.
Us posting on our yours is not a little social media, but our social media.
Well, it's again, like owning that, right? And also I think again, going back to what you said, when we are our whole selves, then I think sometimes that feels like permission for others to be their whole selves. Like, I know people that are so authentically them that I have craved that. Yeah. Not to be them, but to be so comfortable in my own skin that nothing anyone says is like, well, okay. And you don't like me. All right. I mean, like, at the end of the day, we give so much credit to strangers.
Wow.
They're not in our homes. They're not sitting at our tables. So I think that, I try to lead by example and be purposeful and make it count. And at the end of the day, like, again, if he's good, I'm good.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, the audience of one is a powerful thing to think about, especially when you are singing at the Grand Ole Opry and your audience is not one, or you're at the Ryman Auditorium and your audience is also not one. It's beautiful to know that that is your heart.
At the heart of it, right? Yeah. And it just, I think it makes it, at least my experience has been, it takes me out of the equation. Right. I'm just the vessel. Right. I'm just the chick who's making sounds,
The chick.
Yeah. And that's very freeing. I'm a big fan of freedom. It's
in Proverbs somewhere, fear of man is a snare, but the one who trusts in the Lord is safe.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's, like, for me, at least an internal verse of, like, that safety of the security you're describing of, like, being full of, like, hey, you don't like me, I'm still good. Because my security isn't derived from your opinion. It's, like, such a beautiful, like, anti-people pleasing verse that I have to tell myself often, because I fall prey to that a lot.
Well, I was a people pleaser too. Yeah. I mean, I was full time.
Yeah,
I still have to really put myself through I go through filters of, how am I falling into those old habits, or I'm in my truest self. Yeah. And, it's a daily, I think that's why I know that's why. If I start off my day in prayer, and that being the beginning, then I can weather storms very differently than the way I used to do it. You couldn't pay me to go back. There's just no, it's not an external thing. I love the Opry. cherish the Opry. I can't wait to play it again. I think about the songs on the stage. I think about how they'll move hearts and minds. And that's all external, and that's all awesome. And getting to, like, you know, we're talking about Dolly and talking about Reba, and there's so many incredible people that are doing really great work in the entertainment world. And the entertainment world is kind of bananas, right? So to know that there's so many good people doing great work, great people doing great work. But yeah, there's a freedom that comes with peace. And there's a freedom that it's just indescribable. And it is not, the state change of that has been the greatest gift I never saw coming.
I absolutely love that. This has like been the greatest gift to have you on, because honestly, a lot of this was selfish. Like, I wanted to hear from your heart. Like, I wanted this time with you for myself. It's not selfish in the sense like we get to share and people get to hear as well. But I just like, there's so many things about you that I admire and respect and love. And everyone that knows you knows how you are genuine, but you genuinely love people.
I love people.
I told someone this today. It was a gal that did my hair who actually
Hair looks gorgeous, by the way.
She actually just got your book recently, I think last week. Her name's Tori. She's amazing.
Aww.
She was Miss Livingston Roundup Rodeo, so you probably know what I'm talking about. But she was saying, like, yeah, when I've gotten to interact and meet Steph briefly, like, you can just tell she's down to earth. And I was like, yeah, she has every reason not to be. You do. You have every single reason not to be down to earth, but you still choose to be. And yes, you have great faith, which also humbles us every time we do get in our prayer closet and get real with ourselves and ask for forgiveness on things only we know we do.
Sure.
Of course, that's a great element, but you have every single thing the world deems as valuable, yet you're still humble and gentle and gracious and kind and loving.
Well, I tell you what, every person we meet in a grocery store, at the stoplight, the most tiny of action, a smile, can give someone a total change of outlook on their day. So why wouldn't we? Like, why wouldn't we? Like, I don't know. I'm that person at the airport that probably people are like, why is she up in everybody's business?
In the same way.
But it's more of like, if I see a mom carrying 2 kids and like 9 bags, I'm going to help her. It's just I just want to, because I think about, like, man, if I was in that situation, I hope someone would go, hey, let me carry your bag. And, but yeah, no, I love people, and I've learned to understand them in such a different way, especially with just getting more internally aligned, you know, de-corging. And I love corgis, just like to all my corgi, to all the corgi loving humans out there. No, I love a corgi. I'm just trying to give if you've ever seen, just really 2 different directions.
I think about the Toy Story one too.
Yeah, 1,000%. 1,000%.
Historically, we end with like a question. I feel like we maybe have answered it in different ways.
Love it.
But I'm going to ask it anyways.
Okay, ask me.
And it could be a different answer, and it's okay if it's not. But if you could go back in time and look Stephanie in the eyes at any given age and tell yourself something that you know now, what age would you be and what would you tell her?
She would have probably been... Man, there's so many times. But I think if I could go back to the beginning, before the beginning, of when, like, Stephanie went off the rails, it would be probably, she'd be about 11, maybe 10 or 11, young. And it would have been like, what I would have said to her. I don't know if I could have said that to her. It might have been too grown up at the time, but I think the conversation would be about value and worth, and that you are a child of God. No one gets to minimize that. And I think I didn't have that moment. You know, I think that you know, when you have divorces and you have this influx of becoming a teenager, which is the weirdest time in anyone's life, but speaking from a girl that was going through it, like it was like an out-of-body experience. So I would have probably shared that, because I let people's opinions of me create I will try harder and I must not be trying. It created a try in me that was not good for little Stephanie. And now I protect her with my life. Never again. And now I kind of think about her often from that standpoint, like, And that's probably why I'm so protective of strangers.
Wow.
Like, gather a collector of humans. I would probably say that.
That is really,
kind of heavy.
really beautiful. But it's
true.
It's heavy, but it's also probably relatable to a lot of us.
Yeah.
And beautiful at the same time. Thank you for sharing that.
You're very welcome.
This was amazing. I could have asked you 19 million more questions, but I was trying to be mindful of our battery time, your time,
Sweet Josh's
time, and everyone that's watching's time, even though I'm sure they could probably hear a lot more.
So we can like just cut it up and do all the things, and we can also do a part 2.
I'd love that.
Or part 3.
I would be honored.
Josh is like, no.
No, Josh is down. He's like, this, yeah, he would be so down. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for wanting to share, and just I'm excited for you.
So.
I'm you're in a moment familiar to me.
Yeah.
And so I know what's coming. And so from that standpoint, it's like, just be where your feet are.
Thank you. You are so wonderful, so wise. I appreciate your time and your wisdom more than I could say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time on The Gold and the Grit, I'm your host, Ann Christian.
Thank you so much for having me. Give it to him one more time.
Okay, should I do it? Oh no, it's fine.